My name is Dan Young, and welcome to the Millionaire Code podcast. I'm a self-made guy that has made multi-million-dollar businesses from scratch. There's no way I could have done it without the help of mentors who provided me with the wisdom and guidance to help me create the formula for success. Each week on my podcast, I'm going to interview a hugely successful business person that will provide you their secrets to success. And that way can act as your mentor too. I can't wait to share their stories and takeaways with you. Welcome to Dan's Millionaire Code. Hi guys and gals, Dan Young here with Dan's Millionaire Code. And as you know, every week I bring to you a good friend who's very successful as an entrepreneur who's going to share with you their secrets of how they built something out of nothing. So that way they can act as your mentor as well. I only ask you three things back in return for this podcast. I don't ask for your money, but what I do ask for is this. One, you execute everything that you learn from this. Watch it over and over and actually do it. Two, share it with your friends and loved ones that may benefit from this podcast. And three, take 10% of your net gains from the knowledge you learned here, the actual revenue and money you're earning from it, and give it to a great charity. You know, we really support Operation Underground Railroad big here. And we also like Nuzzles & Co. to save the dogs and cats. We want to rescue the dogs and cats. So, but you can give to whoever you want with that 10%. But without further ado, today's guest is my friend, unstoppable entrepreneur, Sandi Hendry, CEO and founder of Minky Couture. Did I say that right?
Yes, Minky Couture.
Okay. Minky Couture makes the most amazing hand-sewn designer blankets. I own like 5 of them. So I'm not going to go too deep in this. I'm going to let her tell you the story of how it got there. But we first met at the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year nominations, and you won.
And I won.
Right on. I'm so proud of you.
Yay.
That's awesome. So let's tell us about Minky. Like, where'd Minky come from?
Where did it come from? Well, we are just celebrating this year our 10th year of doing fabulous, luxurious, custom blankets that are just a must in every house. You want me to tell a little bit how we started?
Yeah, how about your story though? Because as an entrepreneur, you know, a lot of people wondering, like, how do you get into this? Like, where do you come from?
Yes, where did I come from? Well, actually, I want all your viewers to know and listeners that there is life after 50 and 60, and you can't ever think that, oh my gosh, I'm too old to fulfill my dream, or I'm 20 or 30 or 40, or it's past, I can't do it anymore. I'm a has-been, because I actually started on a very traditional path, graduated from high school, went to college, graduated. My father gave me some advice. He said, surround yourself with great people. Great people. The second is do something you love. But then he encouraged me. He wanted me to teach school. Mm-hmm. And I always had this little business buzz in me. My dad owned a newspaper. He was an editor, and he did that for 45, 50 years. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that he just owned his own business, and he gave back to the community, and he cared about all the people around him. And that really influenced me more than I thought it did. And so anyway, but then he thought, it was back in the 50s, 60s. You're a girl. You need to do something safe. You just need to teach school. I think that'd be great for you. So I went that path, and I love teaching, and I love teachers.
What grade did you teach?
I taught 6th grade.
Well, yeah, that's where you learned the patience, right?
Yeah, patience. I can catch an eye roll anywhere. You know, 6th graders always roll their eyes. And I did that for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I loved it, but I still had this little buzz in me. And along that way, I had ideas all the time. I love fashion. I thought, maybe I want to do a boutique, or maybe I want to do, get into retail. So I kind of had that kind of instilled in me. But then after I retired from teaching, I started teaching at 21, so I retired at 51. And I thought, okay, I'm still young. I feel like I'm 20. I've got so much more to do. And then my husband owns a company, so I started doing the personnel there, and it felt restrictive. Anyway, so as I went along my journey, my daughter, who was 27 at the time, became very, very ill. She was in the hospital for 5 months in liver failure.
Oh, no.
And you know, when your kids are sick, what do? I'll do anything. I just need you to get better. I mean, you become a little bit obsessed and panicked, and you just want them to recover. I mean, when they get their tonsils out, you're dying. But this was like pretty
big deal.
Pretty big deal. So one day when I was leaving the hospital, she said, Mom, I just need a cozy, comfortable blanket. I said, okay, I'll go find one. So I started on my journey. Well, I could not find, and then she said, make it really cute because I'm in here and I want something really fun and cute. So I could find pretty, like a quilt, but they're not cozy and comfortable. Have you ever wrapped up in a quilt?
It's not that comfy,
yeah,
kind of
not comfortable.
bulky
Yeah.
and weird.
And so then this new fabric had just come out in the previous couple years, and it was called Minky fabric. And I had purchased baby blankets and had a few baby blankets made, so I thought, I'm just going to make her a big baby blanket. But then I went to the fabric store, and I still was not seeing anything really fabulously cute. But I found the cutest I could find, and I had my other daughter's sister-in-law make me a big, cute, cozy baby blanket.
This is the first blanket.
But this was the first
Minky?
Yes. Yeah, so I took it to the hospital, and every time I would visit the hospital, the other patients would be wrapped in her blanket. And so I said, I got to make some more. So I made like 20 more, and then I made 50 more.
Wow.
I started giving them to the other patients, and I gave them to the doctors and the nurses. And, you know, it just ended up being like people were calling me now saying, you know, those big blankets you make, would you, could you make me one? Finally, after I'd made literally maybe 50, 60, I thought, this is getting expensive. I need to start, you know, thinking about this could be a great business. And I loved it, but I thought, you know, a blanket's universal. Everybody's had a blanket for thousands of years. What can I do to make my blankets more unique, you know, more luxurious, just the it blanket.
Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of blankets out there. I mean, you go
there are a lot of blankets out there.
Walmart or whatever.
Costco,
they're
everybody,
right?
yeah. And so I decided, okay, I love working with the community. I'm going to see, I want them handmade. I'm going to see if I can order a lot of fabric, find a vendor to get fabric, find some seamstresses, and then I want them to be able to customize them. I want them to pick the front, the back, the ruffle. And so that if a mom's going down the mall and she has a baby blanket, it's not like the other mom coming down the mall and they go, oh, we both got the same blanket. Mm-hmm. So I wanted people to go in and enjoy the experience, pick the front, the back, the ruffle.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I wanted it local, I wanted it unique, and I wanted it personalized. So that's kind of how we got rolling and started. And I started online first, and we had, you know, where they could go in and select front, back, and ruffle. Then I thought one day, people were still calling me saying, is there a way I can get it without ordering it online? I need it today for a shower. I need it. My mom's sick, or my grandma's in the hospital, or my aunt's, you know, daughter had a baby. Mm-hmm. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try opening a retail store. Everybody was saying what? Retail, no brick and mortar. People are going online. No one is successful with brick and mortar. And I thought, well, okay. So I'll try it anyway.
You're a rebel. Let's go.
I'm going to go. So I put like maybe a couple of hundred blankets in a little area store that I didn't want it in a mall. I wanted it where people could drive up front, run in, grab it, run out, and they didn't have to like traipse through with 3 kids through the mall. So anyway, did that, and oh my goodness, I opened it in October, and I kept just supplying inventory for the store. And I thought, okay, we were headed into the Christmas season. I had like 10 seamstresses, and they were sewing as fast as they could. And you know, we were supplying the store. But the night before Christmas Eve, this is so true. I have a picture. I had one blanket left on a shelf. Whoa. Yes. And I took a picture of it, and I thought, you know what? I think I've caught on to something. I think there's a need and a desire for this. And actually, people love that they're, not that they're just great, a great product and they're high quality, but they love that they're kind of invested in it. They kind of feel like when they come in, and these were ones I had just pre-made with my seamstresses. They didn't select them.
You got this evangelist following now.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, Minky. You know?
Yes. Well, and like people will say, it's kind of like the Kleenex. It's a tissue, but people don't say, do you have a tissue? They say, do you have a Kleenex?
Mm-hmm.
Now people will say, oh, we're traveling, I have travel size now. And they'll say, oh, are you bringing your Minkies? And Minkies just mean blanket. So it's like it's probably a local thing, but we've probably kind of redefined the name of a blanket.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So
that could definitely be a international,
Yes. Do you have your Minky? I know there's a big billboard going to the airport, and I'm going, don't leave home without it. Take your Minky, with the kids. And honestly, I just got back in town day before yesterday, and there were 4 kids on our flight with Minkies, curled up on their seats, asleep with their moms. And I thought, I wanted to go down the aisle and say, oh, I know that Minky company. Oh, I know that.
Feels good, right?
Yeah, it's great.
I know how that feels too, because I remember, sometimes you're flying around the country for business stuff or vacations. And I was at the airport.
You're very recognizable.
Well, not me. I was trying to be stealth, right? I was like trying to be stealth, dude, like a ninja. But my daughter and I and son are at the airport, and we're looking around, and my daughter's like, hey, look, those people, that guy there has one of our computers, the guy, the business dude. And then my son goes, hey, there's a kid right there with some headphones on, and he's like playing video games on one of our computers. And literally on this flight to Hawaii, we saw 6 people on the same flight that had our computer. So we were like, oh, hey, maybe we're doing something right.
Yeah.
That feeling?
Awesome?
It's like it's all warm. We're like,
yes. And then,
they're happy.
I know, and I love it because they're happy and they bring such joy.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when moms are traveling, it's like, I just have people come in now all the time to the store, and they'll say, oh my goodness, I went to St. George this weekend, Utah, on our vacation, and we forgot my 4-year-old's Minky. So we went I have a store in St. George. We had to go in and get him a Minky to get through the vacation because he can't go to sleep without it,
So I have a question on online versus retail. So it sounds like both avenues are successful for you.
Yes.
Tell me about what's more. Is retail more successful than online, or is online more?
It's interesting because I'm a numbers person. It probably came from teaching and stuff. But I watch my numbers really closely, and it's followed this trend for 9 years. From January to October, our stores are higher than online. It's like 40% versus 60%. And then October, November, December, our online is 60% and our stores are 40%. And I don't know why. I don't know if people are shopping. They don't have time to come in. They know they like them, so they just order them online. And our out-of-state is growing, exponentially, of course, because some people, and one of my biggest marketing secrets is at first my team would say, stop giving blankets away. And I'd say, no, it's our best marketing tool. You get one in the house. This is a secret, so don't tell anybody. You get one in the house.
But do it.
Yeah, but do it. You get one in the house, and then everybody fights over it. So the mom comes back and says, I need 4 more for Christmas. Everybody needs their own because we're fighting continually over that blanket.
You know what happened to my first Minky? This is crazy. So I think my daughter bought it. My daughter just picked it up. And then she had it, and she was all snuggling with it. And then suddenly, I have little pugs, right? They're like little kids.
Oh, no, they love them.
So they made it she put it on the pug bed, and the pugs are on that. She started taking pictures for her Instagram, the pugs. Then the pugs, would not get off of it. So she's like, we need to get another one, because the pugs took over on that. See, so not just humans are taking over.
Honestly, I had one of my good friends come in, and she goes, look at this bite. And I said, what? What happened? She goes, my dog would not give me back the Minky, and I yanked it out of his teeth, and he just went to grab it out of my hand and got my hand. And so,
humans, animals, everybody.
Yeah, so, I mean, they will
matter.
fight to the death over their Minky. But, oh goodness, what's fun now is, one thing that we're doing now is we're designing all our own fabrics and all our own designs so that you can't go into Joann's Fabric or another store and
We're good.
find your fabric. Sorry. So before, there were other Minky distributors that would sell them to all the fabric stores in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And so I was buying from that distributor so people could go find that exact design in a fabric store. Now I have designers, and I've contracted with different designers around the country. So we do in-house designs and contracted designs with other designers. So if you get a Minky from me in that design, 90% of the chance you will never see it anywhere else.
Are you going to stay direct to the consumer through your stores and your website? Or are you ever going to go through like Amazon and Costco? And...
We actually have a few blankets on Amazon right now. But honestly, I've been asked that a lot. And I feel like the product is so, it's luxurious. It's a little pricey for some people. I always try to give a discount so local people and people can enjoy it and afford it. But I feel like if I retail it out, it's going to make it a lot harder for, more people to enjoy it. Because, I'm taking out the middleman basically by doing it direct. And I enjoy that part. I love the marketing. I love meeting my customers. I love the social media. And I feel like when, if I do the retail, it's kind of a little tricky. It would help distribute it out there to other locations throughout the United States easier than I can do myself. But I'm going to conquer that too.
It's an interesting journey.
It is.
We've had the same thing with all the computer products, that we sell. And we've put some on Amazon and things like that. And still the majority are either our retail or our online outlets directly. And then our salespeople can interact, tell the story, help people, give better service.
Yes. Your customer service can be, and I believe, like you, in, great customer service, because I feel like all those customers out there that are taking their hard-earned money and they're choosing Minky Couture, and I feel, a little. I'm grateful. I feel blessed that they will take that money, come to my store, and take my product home to share with their family. And I don't want to ever take that for granted. So
that's cool.
I adore and love the customers, and especially the ones that just, like you said, they tell everyone.
It's that great of a product.
Addicted, yeah.
So I'm going to shift gears here to, because, your company has scaled so well. And you got the Entrepreneur of the Year because you guys are awesome.
I was so surprised.
I
really was not planning.
Well, you guys deserve it. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
But here's the thing. So 10 years ago, that means you started, 2009-ish? Like right out of the economic destruction.
Oh, it was.
Like horrible.
It was horrible. It was when the recession was.
You opened in the dead of the recession.
And so I literally. And
that's pretty gutsy.
Yes. It was maybe stupid, but
it turned out all right.
Yeah, it turned out all right. I did have, and that's what I'd like anybody listening that's thinking of starting their own business. You have to push through some barriers. You have to push through some difficult times, and you have to think outside the box to kind of conquer your roadblocks. Because when I started, it was down times for people. They didn't have a lot of extra spending money. That is why I wanted to give local seamstresses the opportunity to sew at home for me.
You're creating jobs.
I'm creating jobs. And you know what? Utah has fabulously talented people. And these women have learned to sew since they were little, but they can't afford daycare because they've got 2 or 3 kids. So what we do is we bring thousands of bolts of fabric into our warehouse. We cut it inside the warehouse, and we bin it. And then these seamstresses come and pick up their bins.
Wow.
And then they take their bins home, and they'll sew, 100, 200, 500
Whoa.
blankets.
So this is authentic.
a
This
week.
isn't like
Oh no, this is for real.
this isn't like
This is-
sweatshop slave
no.
labor stuff. This is
No.
like moms in
Yeah.
Utah
This is raw.
making this with their bare hands.
And I think that's why, and I've always said to them,
Wow.
the love that you have for what you do is literally, because people say, why are your blankets so different? And I want to say, well, the majority, not all of them now, but the majority are sewn at homes with moms, and they have to have a separate room, no pets in the area that they're working, because a lot of people are allergic, and it can't have food. So we have home checks now because we have, guidelines that they have to pass. But literally these moms, I would get, and during the recession, one mom that was driving 30 miles to pick up her bins, 3 times a week, and just wrote me this long letter saying, this is the first Christmas my kids have had a Christmas in 3 years because my husband's been out of work. My house was in foreclosure. Now, this is money has saved my house and
Whoa.
saved and when you impact somebody's life like that, like an individual that really, truly will remember that forever, I mean, it's life-changing.
It's amazing.
So-
And it really touches my heart to see companies that are not only just pumping money into America and creating jobs and opportunity, but also local here
Yes.
in Utah and our
Yes.
state. That's amazing.
Yes, thank you. And that's why when I think of doing it outside of Utah, I think, oh, I don't know. I mean, we'd have to still sew them in Utah and then ship them out, which is fine. But I think I could recreate this other places. It's
For
just
sure.
that I'm just so familiar with, our surrounding area and the talents that we have. But now, I also am now, large enough that we're creating our own fabric with our manufacturers.
Ooh,
So I've had them make it thicker and more plush.
more
and
Minky.
More Minky, yes. And so it's
My pugs are already like,
they're going, I need a
you
new
can have the old one.
Yeah.
I'll take the 2020 model.
Yes, I want the newest model. So that's been so fun for me because I've got to go visit the manufacturing plants, and it's just amazing how these threads form this Minky fabric, and then I can create the thickness and the colors and the design on top. I mean, it's just really escalated and rolled into something that's just a passion. That's so fun.
So what's the scariest thing in 10 years? Like, heart pitter patter moment as far as,
To get to
running
in
this
10
thing.
years?
within the last 10 years, the scariest
the
business
scariest thing.
moment,
In the
like,
past.
oh.
I got to a point where I'm sure everybody gets there where you're going, okay, I need to like dive in and invest to the point where you're kind of nervous because you're going, okay, this can make me or break me.
Oh, yeah.
I went and got advice from a couple of university business professors that were supposed to be the know-it-all of entrepreneur businesses, and they both told me, stop. Don't go any further.
Stop.
Yes. They
Stop.
said, they said, stop. Don't do this. You're not going to, it's only a blanket. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I walked out of the second one and thought, I'm not going to stop.
Those guys are idiots.
I know.
Have they ever owned
I
a business,
know.
though? Or were they like textbook?
I think they were textbook and professors. I don't think they ever had a business.
They told you to stop.
They told me to
My
stop.
advice to
I
you,
know.
Sandy, is just stop.
Both of them did.
Go back and just start teaching again.
Yes.
Forget the blanket.
And the last one just said, on paper, I just can't make this work, and you need to do. And I just looked at him and I said, I'm selling, and I was selling, thousands of blankets, not hundreds of thousands, but thousands. And I said, I just can't stop. I've got to think outside the box. So I think what really helped me get past that is when I started creating my own fabric. And that's where I invested a lot and said, I want to invest my own colors, my own fabric. And then they do sew those offshore. It's not any cheaper, but it's just a different product. The ladies here needed commercial machines.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I couldn't go that far to buy 100 commercial machines because they're enormously expensive. And plus, you have to be trained. So I thought, okay, so they still sew locally. And some of these extra plush ones are sewn offshore in these factories that I've personally been to they're not sweatshops, they're not kids, they're, actually they're moms that really need the income too. And so
That's great.
I think, I feel good about that because, I'm helping the world become a better place too. And I think, doesn't the world need a hug right now with a wonderful blanket around
For sure.
them? All of them.
I need some more. My
Yes.
pugs keep, they just keep hoarding
I know.
them.
We've got to take care of those guys with their.
They take the blankets and my socks too. They disappear.
That's
I thought it was
why
a
you guys don't wear socks.
I thought the dryer was eating them, but the pugs were. This is amazing. This is an amazing story. What? I'm gonna shift gears again. ADD's kicking.
Please do.
What's your most effective marketing technique? I mean, there's so many avenues because you're online retail. Like, what would you say is like?
And you know what? This is another secret that I'm going to share with us.
And you got to execute it, guys. So.
If you have a wonderful product, you've got to let people experience it. And so, like I said, I distribute and give a lot.
Okay.
I give a lot through charity events. I give a lot through organizations in schools. I give a lot through just people who, I had a wonderful flight attendant. I gave her a little card and said she was local and based in Salt Lake. And I said, here, you've been so awesome. Just take this to my business and get a Monster Minky Couture blanket for you.
I like the name Monster.
Yes.
Monster Minky.
And she said, I've heard about them, but I've never had one. Really? You're going to give me one? And I said, yes, you've been so kind, to me through this flight. And so I like to just do random things. And so I think just letting your product get out there and know that you want people to experience it. The other thing, just on the regular things, because it's a blanket and you use a blanket with a newborn all through life, and even, when you're in an elderly person, a grandma, grandpa, honestly, you can't buy them another shirt. You can't buy them a pair of shoes. But they're sitting home. They want something of comfort. So it's wonderful to give elderly and retired people blankets. So it's a lifelong blanket. So I use, all kinds of media. And I do the written, I do ads, I do TV, I do billboards, I do radio, I do podcasts.
Wow, you do everything.
I do everything because
digital, lots of digital too. Everything.
Because since it affects every stage of life. Every stage of life watch is different. Like the 20 and 30-year-olds, they're listening to podcasts, they're doing social media. They're not going to sit and probably watch the news as much on a traditional TV. So I've just found that for me, I just rotate all avenues, and I have a huge audience in every avenue, which is probably because my product is for everyone.
So your advice there is to use all different types of media, but for different demo.
For a different demo, yeah.
So you don't want to just use one type. You want to mix that up.
Mix it up because your audience, well, first of all, know your audience. My audience is everyone. If your audience is only 20 to 30-year-olds or 30 to 50-year-olds, or, a computer is something that's awesome, but it's going younger, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty broad now.
Pretty broad.
Everyone kind of needs it.
It used to be maybe 20 to 50-year-olds, but now it's like 5 to 80-year-olds.
The kids need it.
Yeah.
So
now it's everybody. But know your audience. Your audience is crucial, and find out what their likes and dislikes, and get to know strangers that are in your audience. Because I think the people that are around you that love you, which you love their input too, but they're going to tell you what you want to hear. But if you get to know people that are in your audience that are strangers or new acquaintances, ask for their input. Ask for what they think. Say, give me some advice. What do you like? What don't you like?
That's wise.
Yes. And don't carry your feelings on your sleeve. I've had so much advice, and sometimes it's hurtful, but I have to go, this is business. I need to take their advice, and I need to dissect it and look at it, analyze it, and see how it can help me.
Don't carry your feelings on your sleeve. I like that.
Yeah. Well, because, and maybe people get so passionate about their product because, like mine, it feels personal. It feels like part of my life. It's sometimes hard, if they have a suggestion or if they don't like this or they don't like that. I have to say, I need to run with that. I need to take it and I need to look at it and think, this helps me. whenever anybody writes me on social media or my Facebook or something, says, why don't you do this? Or I didn't like that. I tell, I always responded to those myself till we got too many, but I don't anymore. But I tell them, you first words out of that written word, thank you for your comments. I appreciate it.
That's great. Yeah.
Yes. Instead of, why would you say that?
Why would you say that?
Yeah. You don't know. But no, thank them. Say, we appreciate your input. We're going to look at that.
And even the haters.
Oh, for sure.
Those are good too. That's
Even
good
the
input.
haters,
That's
yeah.
good. Yeah. Send them a free blanket.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, no.
Don't hate me though.
No. Love.
Yeah. I'll send two if you love me.
We've gotten, some people have said, oh man, this design looks just terrible,
Yes,
things like
yes.
and
like
how can
that.
we improve it, and really that input's helped us get better. So
Yes, definitely.
important.
We
You
had
need
a
it.
design that was a little controversial that I hadn't even thought of. And then we had a few inputs and I said, thanks for that. It wasn't intentional. I did not even think of it, but we'll do a better design next time.
There you go.
There you go.
And those people, actually, one thing I found out is the people that are, quote, haters, if you can address it, listen, hear,
Yes.
maneuver, they sometimes become your strongest evangelists.
Oh, absolutely.
As long as you're cool about it and you listen and
Yes.
you're open.
They're so grateful that you listen.
Yeah.
Like, they listened to me. They didn't get mad at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
think that's a great thing.
Can we ask you one big question here?
Okay. Ooh, big.
Where do you see yourself? 10 years from now with Minky?
Well, I'll tell you my dream.
Okay, what's your dream?
I want to have a retail store in New York.
Oh.
And this is my real far-fetched dream, which probably can't happen.
No, you can do anything.
I would like a tall, like a 3-level store where, this is crazy, but I really dreamt this. And I said to my husband, would this be possible? Where it's all glass fronts and there's seamstresses up at the top sewing the blankets.
Wow.
That people order as they come through. They put in their order. The seamstresses sew it upstairs. They either come back or wait. It takes about 45 minutes. And then they put it down a chute that's like at the bank.
Wow.
That brings your deposit and brings out their blanket. And it's sewn right there for them. Don't you think that would be awesome?
This is killer. This is like, if it wasn't Minky Couture, it would be like Build a Blanket or something. Because literally, you're going from where people can pick the design they want. They can see the human beings making it.
Can you imagine how awesome that would be?
That's
And then the second floor would be candy store.
okay. Candy store.
Because I love candy.
You gotta get candy. Second store, candy store.
Yes.
This would do good.
I know. I just think people would.
Just don't ask those professors.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Because they're going to be,
No,
Sandy,
they're gone.
you need to
They're
stop.
done. Yeah.
Candy store, chutes, seamstresses, glass buildings.
Can you imagine people from all over? New York attracts just a melting pot all over the world, and they'd all come to Minky to watch their blanket be made and come down.
We're going to see this here. I bet you we see this in way less than 10 years. I didn't think we see this like
I would love to. If you have any ideas,
Oh, you'll just be
we'll
like,
do it.
you know. So now that you've won the Entrepreneur of the Year here, Utah, you got to go to the national and then international.
Yeah.
We'll be rooting for you.
Oh, thank you.
I think you'll win. I think you'll win.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you got my. I've tried. I think I've been nominated twice, but sometimes they say it takes a few times. But well deserved for you.
You're so big.
No, you
You're
guys
so
are.
big. No.
I'm going to summarize
Awesome.
your wisdom that I've learned from you. I take deep notes because my memory's
good.
kind of trippy sometimes.
Can you read that?
Yeah, I've written it in Chinese. Just kidding. No, I'm
And I'm a
kidding.
teacher, so I can't read it.
Let people experience your product. That's one of your big pieces of advice. If they can't experience it, then they
How can
can't
they
share
love
it.
it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Use media for different demos. So know your target audience, and don't be afraid to use different types of media to target those audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get stuck in one or
No.
something like that. Here's a good one from you. Get to know strangers for just direct feedback.
Yeah.
And respond, honest feedback, and reply in a very, hey, thank you for that feedback. And actually do something about it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and your big one is don't carry your feelings on your sleeve, right? Make sure that you're actually listening and making those improvements.
Yeah. All those
This is goal.
seem to work.
Where can people find you? And more importantly, where can people get a Minky blanket? What's your website?
Website is www.minkycouture.com. And if you go to our website and sign up for to receive, I try not to do a lot of email blasts, but that's a good way to. I send a discount code every Thursday.
Wow.
That they can go on and get like a 30, 40, 50%
wow,
off code.
That's big.
Yeah.
So minkycouture.com.
minkycouture.com. Sign up for the emails.
We'll add the link here, guys, so you can
and go in. And honestly, if you've got a birthday, an anniversary, or anything coming up, it is the perfect gift of a new birth, anything, holidays.
I'm going to get my pugs another one too.
Do you know what? We've got new doggy blankets coming out.
They're made specifically?
Yes, with doggy bones on them. But I think your pugs need our new Mega Plush.
They may want Monster XL Mega Plush.
Mm-hmm. We have the Grande now.
The
7
Grande.
feet. Yeah, they come in different sizes. 7 feet is the Grande.
Just put a little pug on that. Blip.
Yep. 6 feet is called the Monster. 5 feet is the adult. 4 feet is the travel. And 3 feet is the tween. And 1 foot is the...
Is Grande new?
Grande is our newest one.
That's
We've had
huge,
a
right? Like ridiculous.
7 feet, yes.
That's what I need.
Yep. And you can just roll up in that.
Forget the sleeping bag. I'm just going to use that.
Oh, yes. And now we have women's robes, which people are loving. So.
Do you have men's robes yet soon?
No, but I have a brown one.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why we did brown for women, because I don't think people are loving brown.
Maybe a purple velvet one. I will wear it.
Yes. We have cream and blush and charcoal. But yeah, you would love a robe.
This is super. Okay, so minkycouture.com. That's where they can find you.
Mm-hmm, Minky Couture.
This is awesome wisdom. Thank you for sharing that wisdom.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
I wish I could meet all your viewers. But
well, you can meet them virtually. So.
Virtually out there. Yeah.
All right, guys and gals.
Thank you.
I sure appreciate you joining us this week. And thank you, Sandi, for sharing all that wisdom. Again, this podcast is free. There's no advertisements on here. You can't pay to be on the show or advertise or anything. I just invite people who are cool and accomplish awesome things.
Thank you. It's nice to be considered cool and still a little bit aged.
Oh, you're young.
You can still be cool, but people need to know that.
And get ready for the 3-story glass building in New York with the candy store on the second, seamstress on top, and in 45 minutes you will have a blanket.
Yes, handmade, and you get to
blanket.
pick out the front, the back, and the ruffle and the size.
Mm-hmm. So remember, for this podcast, there's 3 things I ask of you. 1, execute what you've learned here and do better for yourself. Take care of your family and your friends and all those that you love in your clan. 2, share it with your friends and loved ones if you think they would find it beneficial. And 3, take 10% of your gain that you make from the knowledge you've attained here and give it to a great charity. That's all that I ask. Thanks for joining us in Dan's Millionaire Code. I'll see you guys and gals next week.